Now, is this some kind of ancient mating ritual, or is it just the way certain members of the government let off steam during the recess of Parliament? Or maybe there's something more fundamental about this kind of human behaviour. It really is not a mystery to me, and particularly after the watershed, of course, when the violent scenes in our society today could be attributed to all manner of causes. There is, of course, no way that one individual can be singled out from the whole mass. Or it may be that we couldn't think of anything better to launch tonight's programme. Personally, I'd go with that idea. Thank you. And what a summer we're having. Aren't we having a summer? Yes, we are having a summer. And just in case it was a little cool for them, they've all exercised. Do you feel better for it? No. And we'll explain more about that a little later on this evening. But I'm so glad you could join us. Late tonight, we have a fun-packed, full programme. And here, back after a few weeks. All right? How are all your friends on the News of the World, OK? Oh, good. Oh, lovely, 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 lovely. Now, nice to have you here. We're going to dedicate... This is the map of the whole country. What are you doing?
I've got a little letter here.
You got a little letter. You get the letter out. Let me hold up the map. There we are, the map, the whole of the British Isles. And we've got Southern Ireland on here. We're sorry that Northern Ireland came away. We didn't want to make too much of a political comment, but it's just because it's all fallen off and we'll stick it back together later, so...
No. Everyone in Northern Ireland, because we've got lots of fans in
Yes,
Northern
I know.
Ireland.
Yes, say hello to everybody in Northern Ireland. And Southern Ireland, over there.
Yes.
Yes, and of course at the TT races some considerable time ago now, but you were over here on the Isle of Man, weren't you, helping them? Yes. Yes.
Right.
Shall we go on with this? Why am I modelling the map? Yes, the TT races, Jerry Hayes. Another Tory with a sick mind. OK, now, we're going to... Salisbury, we've got celebrity floor managers. I know I recognise him from somewhere over here. Dave,
you can't see Salisbury.
Yeah, Salisbury, it's down here, Dave, isn't it?
right here. It's just there, you see.
OK, that's it.
Can we have applause from the audience for Salisbury, please? Thank you.
Right, very good. And... That wasn't Dave Lee Travis, was
Cookie,
it?
can you tell us...
No, right.
James, excuse me.
Sorry.
Could you tell us what's in the letter, please?
The letter.
Oh, the letter, yes, Farnham as well.
The letter is nothing to do with Salisbury.
No, but that's where Dave comes from.
Yes,
yeah,
but
so
this
Farnham
is
as
from
well.
Farnham
Pretend it's from Salisbury.
OK.
OK, so it's Farnham and Salisbury tonight.
And this is from Rachel and the family, who thinks you look like, what's his name? Phil Mitchell out of EastEnders without your glasses.
Really?
Yeah.
And he's right, because that's my other job. Thank you very much indeed. That's good. You keep that. OK. Thank you very much indeed. Shall we have a little tickle for Cookie? Well, goody. Right, let's get on now. A couple of weeks ago, every week, in fact, on the programme, we run a competition. And it's so successful, of course, we have to keep up with it and everything else. And Nick Meredith in Coventry, there we are, Nick from Coventry is off to Ibiza. Him and a mate are off to Ibiza, have a nice time. And it's a very, very strange spelling, but it is right. So we don't want lots of letters, because that apparently is how Nick actually spells his name. Can you hear that fish tank again, Baz? Well, it's this little toy we got... Oh, for goodness sake.
Someone's put some water in it, yeah.
It's... hang on. That's better. OK. Well, it's nice, and I haven't fed him today. His name is Willie the Fish, and...
You could just call it Baz.
Well, I could call it Baz.
It's a very wicked joke.
It's a very wicked joke.
We won't get into it.
Nice to see you back, Baz.
Thank you.
Here we are.
James,
sorry,
can you please get on with the competition?
Yes. Oh, all right, Dave. Sorry.
if you wouldn't mind.
He is, isn't he? He's famous in some walk of life, isn't he?
Yes, but never mind. I mean, it's working as a floor manager tonight. Right, I'll get on.
Could you please start the competition?
Not Lionel Blair's brother, is it?
It's not. No, it's not Lionel Blair. No. Okay. In Greek mythology, what did the Cyclops only have one of? Careful. Was it A, a toe, B, a finger, or C, an eye? Ooh, difficult. You could have a holiday for two on the island of Rhodes for 1 week, courtesy of Whale On. Just give us a call on 0891 900 007, and the lines are open until midnight Sunday. Midnight Sunday. I tell you, whoa! Enough, please. All I ever wanted was to be the next David Frost. This is not, you know, I'll end up being... Is Crackerjack coming back, do you think, or not? No. I know the job for the new James Bond went weeks ago, didn't it? I was upset about that.
Yes.
I was upset about that. Anyway, what is going on in the world of the wacky, the wonderful, the entertaining, and the people with too much money and, Anyway.
Pierce Brosnan, who is the James Bond.
We know.
He's playing Robinson Crusoe out in the South Seas. He's getting paid about £300,000 for that, but he's getting paid £2 million to play Bond for the first movie, £2.5 million for the second Bond. If he does a third, he'd get about £3 million.
Really?
Providing the first one he does makes money, of course.
Where are we going wrong, Baz? What is it here? I mean, he's a reasonable-looking guy, I suppose.
Could be the suit, could be the tie, I don't know.
You think so? Oh, well, okay.
What's happened to your what's it?
Well, I just decided to put it here. Yeah,
I mean,
my
you know, I preferred it
in the ear. Well, I was just trying it differently tonight, just to make it look different.
You can tell them, James, that you have been wearing it in your ear for 20 years.
Yes, I have 20 years in my ear, but I thought I'd take it out and just put it a little pin in the. I really don't. I know that man from somewhere. And
it's not Lionel's brother because
it's not Lionel's brother.
Lionel dies.
He was definitely a singer, wasn't he? I'll get it in a minute. We'll get on with it. Sorry. Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah. And it was interesting watching all those people wrestling at the front of the show.
Is that what they were doing?
Well, or something, or writhing, or whatever.
Yeah, I thought it was a new kind of religious thing.
Some people would say that's violent. You see.
Yeah.
Now, I saw a wonderful film by Quentin Tarantino recently called Pulp Fiction. John Travolta's in it. Bruce Willis. It marks John Travolta's big comeback.
Yeah.
It's a fabulous film. It will win Oscars next year, but. Some people say it's incredibly, incredibly violent. I think it's wonderful. I think it's like a poem.
I saw a film
Like
recently, and I can't remember the name. Yes, violence can sometimes be made into an acceptable form.
Absolutely.
Is that bad or not? Do you think that's bad?
I think that's okay if you're intellectual and sensible enough to understand
If you can't remember the name of the film, why are you talking about it?
No, we're talking about violence, Dave.
Oh,
violence.
violence.
So what is that in your ear?
It's
no, the other side. The other side. Turn around the other side.
It's one of those.
Oh, one of those. Fine. Okay.
Or one of those.
Real diamond, or?
I hope so. I hope so. Zabadak.
Zabadak?
Look, it says
Well,
Zabadak.
I never saw that film.
No, never mind. Right, OK. So...
And the other... You were going to make a strong point about violence, but you forgot.
No, I wasn't. I was going to say that I thought the violence in the cinema at the moment, and it's funny, when you go into a video shop, you can get the most violent videos at 15.
Yes.
But if that video has the F word or the C word in it, they suddenly have an 18 certificate. And if they have, you know, nudity and sex in it, 18 certificate.
Sure.
Keep that away from the kids, but let them see as much
violence
as
and see
you
the
can.
carnage, and it could be as graphic as anything.
Sorry, Mike Mansfield just said in my ear, could I let you talk for a moment? I'm delighted.
No, the point is, no, it's a good point. I mean, Quentin Tarantino makes the point, some people are offended by dance sequences in musicals. Some people are offended by slapstick. He likes violence. I don't mind violence as long as it's not sadistic and offensive. If it's done to prolong the plot, then it's okay. See Pulp Fiction and we'll talk about it.
Good, OK. Ladies, oh, by the way, before we do that, ladies, what do you think? This young lady called Angie Dawn from Worley in the West Midlands, and she wants to be famous.
She wants to be I'm a topless model?
Yes, I mean, she sent me these photographs. What do you think? Is there any chance, because you're in the know?
Well, I can give her a private audition. Oh.
Could you?
She's got a gap in her teeth. Oh, that's a good sign. That's a good sign. She'll be very famous.
Yeah, show Dave. What do you think, Dave?
It's a family show.
Is it?
I'm not interested. If you wouldn't mind getting on with it, please. Still a family show.
Send some pictures in with your clothes on, darling.
Yes, because we like them, but send some more and we'll see. Thank you very much indeed for those. Should we have some talent?
Well, you've just had some.
Yeah, I think we'll have some more. We had him some time ago. We've invited him back because we think he's one of the best-looking men on television, apart from Baz and myself. Please, would you put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome the man with the beard!
Thank you. Thank you. Allow me to introduce myself properly. My name is actually Kevin McCarthy, the man with the beard, probably the world's most successfully cured anorexic. And up until now, the world's first blow-up comedian. Allow me to enlarge. I'll let that out the top end for the benefit of the people in the front row. I'll be honest with you, tonight I've come here because I'm a little bit worried about the new European road signs. They don't mean what we think they mean. Allow me to show you. Here's the first one. Now look at this. To me, that obviously means pull onto the roundabout and stay on it till you disappear up your own bottom. Horses often pass this way. This one scares me. Have a good look at that bike. There's no spokes. There's no chain, and there's no sign of any brakes. If you see anyone pedalling this towards you, stand aside, they're going to kill themselves. Sort of self-explanatory, that one. Have you ever seen two people that look like that were still alive? And should we condone a road sign that's quite obviously got a little old man having his nuts tickled from behind by a little old lady? Is that possible with a motor car? Actually reminds me of a very silly impression. That one, my impression of a motor mechanic. This is my bit for the fight against drugs. Pervert! You'll recognise him, pockets full of boiled sweets, run him over. This one I actually stole from Downing Street a couple of years ago. But thankfully they don't want it back. Reminds me of another silly joke, though. Two cows in a field, one went... The other one went... You get... I was going to say that. Here's a strange one. This one, I lost the caption to in my highway code. It was obliterated by a cup of coffee. And all I've come up with is, look out, lightning is about to strike your willy. And I'll be honest, I've been past there 32 times and no luck yet. Probably the most stupid road sign ever made. Go wherever the hell you want to. How many accidents has this caused? Eh? You drive towards it, you think, I'll go that side of it. No, bugger it, I'll go that side of it. And you skid on the gravel and everyone gets killed. How many times have you driven down the A1 and thought to yourself, it's time to pull over and tune up my piano? Probably the saddest road sign of the lot. Look out, Hedgehogs crossing. Ah, and here he is. We all know this man. Man putting up umbrella, man digging up the road. We've all seen this, haven't we? Can anybody out there put their hand on their heart and say, yes, I saw that happening after I saw the sign? I think that's what you saw, wasn't it? Thank you. Thank you very much. My name is Kevin McCarthy, the man with the beard. If you didn't, meet me outside. We'll have a big punch-up. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Now, Kevin McCarthy, the man with the beard, and we hope that he will come back and join us again because, I don't know, Baz and I were laughing, weren't we?
It's funny.
Because, yeah, it was.
Simple.
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 Don't start that, he's a big bloke. OK, right, music now. And I think we have found for you one of the most superb bands I have seen around. We have superb bands every week on this show, new talent. But this, I think, is going to really knock your socks off. Please, will you welcome... A band, I can't believe they call this, but please, will you welcome Derail!
you should know better. Your heart must beat so when you get a letter. Say you'll settle that bill later on. But in the meantime, your goal is a medal, ain't real, that is wrong. So make a fast time. First a week, then becomes a month. Life goes on as you will always be. Ducking and diving. Ducking and diving. Ducking and diving. Ducking and diving. Man comes round and repossess your car. But now you won't get far. You come on strong, 'cause that's the way you are. Yeah, yeah. The promises you bring to your friends and families, they don't mean a thing. You're so unfair, but you don't care. Listen to the words I sing. Then becomes tomorrow. Life goes on as you will always be. Tucking and diving. First a week, then becomes a month. Life goes on and you will always be. Oh, take it, take it.
Excellent. We love... What are you doing? We like that. Derail and ducking and diving. And they're going to be back later. And in the weeks to come, some of the bands who've appeared on this show will actually be coming back who've got record deals. Did you like that? Now, I just remember where I know you from.
I just wanted to say that I like them.
You like them?
I like them. Did you like them?
On track, I'd say.
Great, fellas. Nice and tight.
Exactly.
Really enjoyed it. Lovely.
Exactly. They should be having hits and records and things. Now,
but they...
because that's Dave D, isn't it? From Dave D, Dozy, Beaky... Mick and...
He's a legend.
Thank you.
Listen,
a legendary
but they
figure.
don't write lyrics like Zabadak, do they?
Zabadak! How do we do that? I've got to go to the break, Davey, but sit down.
Is that all right?
Yeah, no, sit down for a minute.
Right,
you shouldn't have a star like
at
that.
My age, I'm
One
getting
of
a
the
bit
founders
tired.
of pop, for God's sake.
In Greek mythology, what did the Cyclops only have one of, and it wasn't his... Well, anyway, was it a toe, a finger, or an eye? You can ring that number till midnight on Sunday. Don't go away. We will be right back. It up. Thank you very much indeed. Right, welcome back. Second part of the show. This is the next feature. Gary, please. Okay, this is a serious bit. I'd like us to have a little decorum here, if you don't mind, for this bit. Now, this is a series that we're calling Dump Drugs, and we're doing in each programme. Now, we've talked about various drugs, and we will continue to talk about things, but quite often when people mention drugs, none of which are any good for you, you must remember that once you sort of start going down that slippery slope, really, everybody does need some help. Now, alcohol, whether people pretend it isn't a drug or not, is probably the drug that does more harm in this country, probably in the world at the moment. Let me welcome you to Eric Appleby from Alcohol Concern and Dave Arnold from the Health Education Project?
Health Education Authority.
Authority. And let's find out exactly, and from time to time there'll be a number going up on the screen that, in fact, we can put the number up now for anybody who does have a problem, and you may be there putting down another bottle and deciding that you really don't know what to do next. We forget alcohol, don't we? Well, perhaps we don't forget about it, but we all think we can handle it. We're all getting into pubs, or we were when I was about 15, long before I was 18. It causes far more hardship, upset, loss of working hours than anything else.
That's right. Alcohol causes a massive amount of damage to people, to individuals, and to groups of people.
If people knew what alcohol could have done, do you think we'd now be talking about trying to decriminalise alcohol, which would still have been used as it was in the Prohibition era in America, or not?
Well, I guess if alcohol was new, we'd certainly be looking at it hard before we let it loose on the streets, if you like. But the problem with alcohol, of course, it's not new. It's been with us for centuries. It's part of our culture. It's part of everyday life. And you can't get away from that. What we have to do is get away from some of the harm and the damage that it does.
Now, we're not saying... I mean, I drink, and a lot of people watching drink, I'm sure, and I don't know whether you guys drink at all or not, but
yes,
you do.
Absolutely.
So we're not actually saying don't do it, because that's a silly thing, isn't it, really? I mean, there's too much of it. Don't do that, because that backfires. People just say, up yours and get on with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely right, and I think what the message is that alcohol used at the right time in the right place can be very enjoyable, but you need to know that there are potential harms and that you can get into trouble with it if you do it too much, too often.
It can be damaging quite quickly too, can't it? I mean, people who are drinking now, particularly fairly young people, may not realise the amount of damage they're actually doing to their internal organs.
Well, it only takes one incident to damage yourself. If you think about taking on board a large amount of alcohol very quickly, it affects you, affects your mood, affects your personality sometimes, and can get you to do things that you wouldn't normally do when you hadn't had a drink. And I think that's one of the things that we need to get people to be aware of, that alcohol can build up very quickly in the bloodstream, can make people very intoxicated very quickly, make them do things that they may regret the next day.
Violence is a huge cause, a result of alcohol in this country, isn't it? Most of the violence is caused by alcohol in this country.
Well, certainly most of the violence takes place when there's alcohol about. Whether you can say it causes or not is anybody's guess, but I think you can rest assured that most of it wouldn't happen if people hadn't been drinking.
Now, we can make booze, and I think it's categorically known that there's some fairly nice alcoholic drinks, wines, beers, lagers around that have very little alcohol in them. Why don't we do this more often? Why is it that the breweries and the winemakers and everybody else seems to... I mean, it's only a way of fermenting it, as far as I understand. It's not going to really damage the product too much.
I think it's part of the tradition of drinking that people feel they want the alcohol. I think it's also true that some of the low alcohol drinks that have been made really haven't been all that palatable. They haven't been really quite like the real thing. What we need to do is get people into the sort of the habit, into the idea that to have a drink that doesn't contain much alcohol is okay. I mean, a group of young men going out for the evening would often feel that something a bit wimpish, whatever, about not having a proper drink, not getting tanked up. But more and more people are beginning to realise that it's okay, that you can have a good time without getting without getting drunk as well.
Well, I mean, you know, the stories of guys going out and having, I'll go out and have a 17 pints on a Saturday, you think, what an arsehole. I mean, do people really still go out? 17 pints must damage the system more than people can realise.
I think that's becoming less and less common. I think a lot of, particularly younger people, actually see that it's not a sensible thing to do, it's not smart, it's not a sexy thing to do, and that it's actually quite a turn-off.
Why have we taken so long to come to the conclusion that the sort of abuse of alcohol in society, you only have to walk through any city in this country or any town at weekends and realise the kind of problems that it causes? Why have we taken so long to talk out against it?
I think the main reason is because we all drink it. All the people who make the laws drink alcohol and they enjoy it. I think it's very hard to come to terms with trying to legislate to get rid of the abuse but retain the enjoyment of it. And I think what we're trying to do is work our way towards a situation where we can start doing something about that. We've done it with drinking and driving, I think, pretty well. It's still...
Are we better at that? I mean, I'd still like to see some of these people who get accused of drinking and driving being sent to prison for at least 10 years and being banned for life.
Sure,
we seem to be pussyfooting around with that.
There's still a way to go, and I think, personally, I feel what we need is random breath testing. Anyone who goes out with driving, having had a drink, ought to feel there's a good chance of being caught at it. But we have come some way. We've halved the number of people are getting killed by that. There's still far too many, though.
Are we worse than our continental cousins as far as alcohol abuse is concerned? They seem to be able to drink much more sensibly than we do.
I think it's about different drinking patterns. I mean, we've got the style of drinking large amounts very quickly. On the continent, they drink perhaps exactly the same amount, but spread it out. So they probably have more trouble with long-term damage, and we have trouble with more short-term things like violence and drinking and driving.
But it's something we should all be aware of.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Guys, thank you very much indeed. Right. We'll walk over here. Whilst we're walking over there, I won't ask for any applause. Don't be embarrassed. I'll ask for people just... I'm going to fall off this. OK. I'll ask for people just... And I haven't had a thing to drink. Just to think about that. And because it's still on a par with all the other drugs we're talking about. Next week we're talking about solvent abuse. But, I mean, it's still something very serious. With that thought, please welcome the honourable member still, even after the Euro elections of some months ago, the honourable member for Harlow, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jerry Hayes. Well, so with Zabadak.
Kakara.
Yeah, OK, fine. OK, yeah. Anyway, so it's been a few weeks now. Nay, over a month since the
great Tory victory.
The great Tory victory of the Baz of the Euro elections.
Baz, yes.
Do you feel able to talk about it now?
I
do. You think we could talk? You wouldn't shed a tear?
I wouldn't shed a tear.
No.
But of course, we're just coming up to the result of the Labour leadership elections.
Yes,
just a few days now. No, Gary says it so right. You can tell he's a solicitor. We won't win that either.
No.
But but I mean, is it going to be Bambi or Vlad the Impaler? That's what we want to know.
It won't detract. No.
Do you know John Prescott? He's a sort of cross between a Hell's Angel and a Jehovah's Witness because he bangs on your door and tells you to sod off. But he's a good chap. No, he really is.
That was actually nearly funny. Now,
nearly. Yeah.
I wanted to... alcohol is something that perhaps the House of Commons could take a lead in the abuse of alcohol, having been into many of the bars, and still some of the journalists are getting into some of the bars there.
Oh, the journalists.
Not quite often on the terrace.
Wash in the bars, yes.
Do you think there should be some little more sensible discussion about alcohol coming out?
Well, we have a lot of sensible discussion about alcohol, and we actually give quite a bit of money to the Health Education Authority.
Jolly well hope that you do.
Absolutely so. Yeah. But it's not a question about legislation, it's a question of education, and that's what we're trying to do. And the drinks industry are pretty good.
We did get off the European whatever, didn't we? We did get off the Euro elections.
Yeah, I was sorry that Edwina didn't get in, actually.
Were you?
She's
yes.
good
Okay,
news.
fine.
She's good news.
I mean, are we really going to withdraw from Europe? Nobody's interested. 36%? 36%?
Hang on. Just a moment.
Does Parliament have any real authority now?
Just a moment, Mr. Well, because what's happened is that the people who voted in the European election, trust me, I'm a politician.
Yes, okay.
Pay attention, this is very important. The people actually voted effectively, because they voted for the Labour Party, for federalism, for more control of Brussels, more of the things that none of us actually want. In fact, what they did, they kicked the likes of me in the teeth.
Oh, bless him. We bring you a politician each week, and we see the results of what it can actually do to a human being.
Years of
One
abuse.
last thing. Is there any chance that you could bring in legislation in the next Parliament, I know you're on holiday, to ban caravans? In the
Caravans?
summer, caravans,
No.
I loathe caravans.
People...
Here.
Look, James, there's a
What?
very important point
Oh,
here.
sorry.
There are people who own caravans.
Lots of people in Harlow who vote.
Who drive cars, and they vote, and
Yes.
they're warm and wonderful, cuddly people, but just be a little bit more considerate on the
dear
roads,
me.
please, for all the other
Ladies
voters.
and
Good day.
gentlemen, Mr. Jerry Hayes.
It's Skagalak, not Scabby Cat.
And it's not Shagalot, is it, either?
I beg your pardon?
Shagalak.
I've
No, not
told you
Shagalot.
before, James, this
No.
is still a family show. I know
Yes.
it's a bit late.
Yeah, no,
Please.
okay. Dave, why don't you introduce the band? Because, I mean, you know, all those years spent on the road,
Right.
groupies in tow, and
I will
all
do that.
sort of thing. You've
Now,
got to
let
put
me
the
just
glasses
see what
on
it
now.
is. When they started up the first time, you said
Yes.
it got you right in the stomach,
It did,
didn't
actually,
it?
yeah. It just really...
Where-
It reminded
What was it, the
me...
bass end?
I think it was. It reminded me, I have to tell you, it reminded me a little of Lenny Kravitz.
Yeah.
And it also... He's yelling, but ignore
Right.
him. Is his age.
Is he shouting at
Yes,
me or is
he's
he shouting at you?
Both
Right.
of us.
Well, I should be
And it
telling
was a-
you to get onto it.
No,
Ladies
no,
and
no.
gentlemen...
You introduce him.
Shall I introduce
Derail,
him?
yes,
Shall
and
I
it's,
do it?
it's called When We
Yes,
Kiss.
OK.
Fine.
Ladies and gentlemen, Derail, When a Kiss.
No, When We Kiss.
What is it? When We Kiss.
yeah.
Sorry.
Derail and When We Kiss. No, Derail and When
Zabadak.
We... No. No. Derail and When We...
That was the
What?
stomach. It's, ladies and gentlemen, Derail and When We Kiss.
Saw you there, stop and stare, hanging in the doorway. Made it plain enough to see, what did all your friends say? Right then, what was up and what was coming? I don't know if I should stay or should be running. Oh, when we kiss, even if you touch me, I lose all my energy. See what you do to me. When we kiss, even if you touch me, I lose all my energy. See what you do to me. Jumping here, jumping there, got me running everywhere. Can you see it to my face, winner of the same race? Never dreamed that a girl would get me like this. Must be love, it must be something, 'cause when we kiss, when we kiss, when we kiss, even if you touch me, I lose all my energy. See what you do to me. When we kiss, even if you touch me, I lose all my energy. See what you do to me. what you do to me. When we kiss, even if you touch me, I lose all my energy. See what you do, see what you do, see what you see what you do to me. What you do to me, yeah, yeah. What you do to me, yeah. Cause you only got to touch me. Got to touch me. Got to touch me. When we kiss, yeah.
Brilliant! That was great. Wasn't that good? I like that. I love that. That was terrific. Derail, that's called When We Kiss, and we got to have them back on there. I bet you could do Purple Haze terrifically. You really?
Yeah, I thought so.
Now look at this. This is. Can we have a shot over here? Just this is political correctness on the programme. Okay, this is completely politically correct.
Oh, we're old friends now.
Buddies. We're buddies,
No,
we are.
yes, bosom buddies. Bosom buddies. I'm so glad that political correctness is out the window. I'm so glad. Now, just before we go to the break, are you ready for the song, Dave D's song? Just before we go to the break, I thought we'd do that. Quick reminder of the competition. Well, you do this first, okay? Are you ready? Dave, just see what you think.
Right.
Okay.
Piercing.
Oh,
no, you've got to sing as well.
You've got to sing as well, Dave.
Oh, I've got to sing as well.
Yeah, you know the words. I'm not singing on my own.
Oh, apparently it's not cleared. We can't sing it.
Oh!
No.
You're the light.
It's Zabadak.
Why don't we all
You can't do it.
Can we do it?
We can't do it.
Is that the...
Have a shag. Shag on your Corey.
Oh, you're right. I thought he owned the song. I thought he wrote it.
Well,
Did you
no
write
one's
it?
asked.
You can do a few bars.
Yeah, you can do 8 bars.
Unions.
8 bars.
I blame it all
Eight bars.
on unions.
Yeah. We do a bar. Should we do it behind bars?
Bureaucracy. Bureaucracy. I hope if you're those grey men in grey suits, I hope you have a rotten weekend. Anyway, 0891 900 007. In Greek mythology, what did the Cyclops have only one of? A toe, a finger, or an eye? You can ring that number till midnight on Sunday. Shut up! And we'll come right back after the break. What an event! What a novel! Look at the stage. What a novel bit of opening that was. Mark and Mark, sort of Marky Mark of cameras. Lovely. Now you may know some months ago now, I suppose there was a big furore. They're set Mark 1 and Mark 2, or Mark 2 and Mark 1 over there. You made a big row about the BBC spending over £1 million of our money, on this terrific fish tank for the foyer of TV Centre. Didn't cost a bloody thing. Didn't cost a bloody thing. Thank you very much indeed. Now, back to the letters. Thank you for the letters. Could we monitor the marks? Could we get a little shot over there of the wall with the address on? We do like to have your letters. Thank you very much. From Southsea in Hampshire, and I didn't think we'd get letters from there, but Joanne has written to me, and she says, thank you for a wonderful late-night programme. I'm going on for 70, but I find it fascinating and entertaining, and I do like Gary Jacobs. She didn't say that, actually, but I thought I'd put it in because you're sitting next to me.
Oh,
and
that's all right,
the next letter comes from the... This is good. The Hammerlock School of Wrestling. And they say, my colleague and I recently wrestled in Las Vegas, Nevada, USA, for the Wrestling Around the World organisation in tournaments, including top American stars. Whilst there, we noticed that in America, they have wrestling schools.
So on returning to the UK, we decided to open up our own wrestling school and thought perhaps you might be interested.
I was thinking of going.
You were thinking of going?
Yes.
Well, they sent some press cuttings in. So we have invited some of them in from the Hammerlock School of Wrestling, and a little bit of a demonstration bout for you, something that I think would be most entertaining in all parties late at night. This is a little... Jerry, what are you doing?
Refereeing, James. I'm used to this.
Sorry, Jerry, isn't there a reshuffle coming up?
A reshuffle? No.
Oh, right, fine, OK, as long as you know. Right, OK.
So this is ambition.
No, of course.
Yes.
But he would be...
Ambition would be a waste of time.
He would be interested in health, sir, if you're looking in. Right, mixed tag wrestling bout. Mixed tag bout. Thank you, Dave, sorry. Yeah, Sabadak. No, tag wrestling.
Good, clean fun, girls. No grabbing hold of the naughty parts. Seconds out.
1.
One, two. One, two, three. Shows I can count. 1.
Oh, pull out. No, don't do that.
No, don't.
Smacker! Whacker! Oh, that's all in. Yes!
Come on! Oh!
Back the breath! Back the breath! Come on, go on! Get in! Get in!
Hold him down.
That's it, step on his head. Swing your boys nuts. Kick it. Rip his tattoos off. Get the girls back in. Get the girls in. Pull his wig off. Yeah, get the girls in.
Pull his arm off in with the soggy end.
Take his shoes off. Get the girls in. Go on.
Whoa.
Get on. Go on, whacker. Pull her hair. Pull her hair. Go on, whacker. Kick her. Smack her. Go on, hurt her. Go on. OK, thank you very much for the moment. Give him a nice round of applause. Now, guys and ladies, have you been hurt? Did she hurt you? Did she hurt you? Because Ken Woolston, what was Ken...
Walton?
Walton, that's right. He used to swear blind that it was all done for real.
This was purely exhibition.
That was it. You weren't hurting each other,
The
were
idea
you?
of what we'd done then was to give you an idea of some of the moves you could learn.
Sorry, what's wrong? What is?
Nothing.
Are you sure?
No, fine.
You're just telling her to piss off because she... I could hear that. If people, what do they have to be? I mean, because you're a little extra. I mean, Gary over here could maybe... What?
You'll be surprised he's got possibilities. Large, small, all sizes. Male, female, yeah.
But you have to be reasonably fit, don't you?
You need to get fit if you're not fit, yeah.
Yeah.
Stand
OK,
by
so if
what I
anybody's interested in going to the school, if they drop us a line or
No
get in
problem,
touch.
yeah.
All right.
No problem at all.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, the Hammerlock School of Wrestling!
If we have... now, leave the mat, guys. If we have any time at the end, we'll get you to take... what are you doing? I know you want to go home early. God, dear, look at that. Get a shot over there, Marky Mark. What are you doing? You're trying to clear up already, aren't you?
He's got a new T-shirt on, that's what...
OK, let's get to the letters. Let's get to the letters.
Well, the first letter I've got here says...
I've got Gary here. This is Gary.
There's me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gary Jacobs, if you... fine. Right.
That's
exciting stuff, that, wasn't
Oh,
it?
that was wonderful. It's just like being shopping down Romford Market. Right. Yeah. Well, that's where the band come from. It's brilliant. That's where I saw him last busting. Somebody here said they're very annoyed with me because his dad was cut up by me driving. Anyone who sees me driving knows that I'm an awful driver. Says I've only got one brake light working. Well, I've had my car repaired, and that was an offence committed by me. He was beaten up by 2 people. He wants to know if he has to go to court to give evidence and what he would get for compensation. Well, I mean, anyone who writes a letter about me like that doesn't deserve compensation.
Should we just bin it and tell him to...
Bin it. If he gets beaten up, it serves him right.
Yeah, don't write letters complaining about my mates anymore.
Absolutely. Just,
okay.
We're not friends. We're not friends.
Up yours.
Yeah,
yes.
right,
OK, fine. Yeah, OK.
Now, this is a serious one. Somebody had an order for costs in a legal aid matter, and they said that the Legal Aid Board are not doing anything to try and recover the costs. Well, unfortunately, it's not the responsibility of the Legal Aid Board. It's your responsibility and that of your solicitor to get costs back. So if ever an order for costs is made in your favour on legal aid, you have to get, and you have to pay the cost of getting those costs back out of whatever money you recover. And this is a case where this person won the case.
Would it be fair to say there are a lot of cowboy solicitors around or not?
Well, I read in the paper recently, about 5 or 6 weeks ago, that there were 800 firms of solicitors under investigation for dishonesty.
800?
800. I find that quite horrifying, and if they are dishonest, I hope that they're all written out of the profession, because...
and you won't be representing them if they come looking for sympathy from you?
I'd represent anybody who came for my assistance.
Yes, of course.
But it's not my job to determine guilt. Of course, that's for the court. No. Right. Somebody who went to a Bruce Springsteen concert and broke their leg. Well,
what do they expect?
What do they
expect?
No, that was my best line. That was my best line.
Sorry.
And what actually happened was somebody in the crowd fell on them. Now, how can anyone else be liable for that other than the person who fell on you? Now, if they fell because, for example, the scenery shifted and there was a genuine accident and the people who held the event were negligent, then they will have public liability insurance and he will be able to claim back. But he can only claim from the people who were responsible for what happened to him. So I'm afraid to say, next time you go to, what was their name there? Derail? Go to a Derail concert. Nobody will ever fall over you.
OK, one quickie. Get a quickie in.
Yeah, somebody sent off £11.79 for a film script of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. They never got it. Want to know what to do. Well, I think they had a Close Encounter of the Third Kind. They lost their money. Yep. You could sue, but if I were you, I would go and write your own script.
OK, good. OK, yep. That's the address to write to if you'd like some free advice. Gary Jacobs, Whale On. Mike, Matt, yes?
While I was here, involved in this thing,
yes.
I broke my watch.
Tough, you shouldn't have joined in. Right, OK, so Mike Mansfield, Whale On, 5 to 7 Cardiff Street, London, W1, etc., etc. Stupid prat.
You were right. Good advice. Quite correct.
Do you want to do a bit of wrestling? Do you want to do a bit of wrestling?
Yes.
Let's bring the wrestlers on. OK, guys, can you give them a quick lesson each? Give them a little lesson. Show him, give him a little lesson, because I think he's got potential. A potential? Yeah. So,
do what?
Link up. Ready? Link up. Come here and sort of link up, like that.
Like that.
Yeah. Hand on it. What do you think? I think he could be quite good.
Push.
Yeah, you got it. What? Oh, yes! 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 Oh!
That's illegal.
Do you think he's got potential?
Definitely.
Because you can't move him. He's quite solid, isn't he?
Can't move me.
Too big for me. Too big.
He is quite solid.
Too big.
Yeah. Baz, have you ever fancied? Are you sure, Baz?
One of them.
Baz,
Yeah.
One of them.
Have you? Oh, 1, 2. Get off here! Get off! Get off! Here! Dave, right! Thanks very much. We're going to be back next week. Thank you very much indeed to Dave Dee for being our guest floor manager tonight. Have a nice week. Join us again next week. Bye-bye.